Governor Greg Abbott announces he will press for pardon of Daniel Perry convicted of show subtitle Hide subtitle Daniel Perry convicted of ing Garrett Foster. Families cry in court. The families of Daniel Perry and Garrett Foster burst into tears. Nate shoot. Watch it. Less than 24 hours after an Austin jury found Daniel Perry guilty of and killing a protester, Governor Greg Abbott announced on Saturday that he would pardon the convicted as soon as a request came to my table. Texas has one of the strongest, keep your ground, self-defense laws that cannot be overridden by a jury or progressive district attorney, Abbott said in a statement. I will work as quickly as Texas law permits on Sergeant's pardon. Perry Abbott's office did not respond to calls from the American Statesman on Saturday seeking additional comment. The two-week trial, involving dozens of witnesses and a large amount of forensic evidence, went unpublished. Abbott did not attend any part of the trial. Perry, an Army sergeant, was working as an Uber driver in Austin on night of July 25, 2020, when he ran a red light at the intersection of 4th Avenue and Congress Avenue and entered Black Lives Matter march before stopping. Carrying an AK-47 rifle, Foster was among a group of protesters approaching his car. Perry told police that Foster threatened him by raising the barrel of his rifle, so he shot him 5 times through the window of his car with a .357 pistol before he drove away. Perry's defense team argued that Perry acted in self-defense, but prosecutors claimed Perry had instigated what happened. They highlighted a series of social media posts and Facebook messages in which Perry made statements that they said showed his mood, such as, he might kill a few people on the way to work. A friend of mine asked, can you legally do it? If they attack me or try to get me out of my car, then yes, Perry replied. The jury unanimously convicted Perry on Friday. State District Judge Clifford Brown will sentence him to jail in the coming days. He is facing life in prison. David Wahlberg, former Travis County Criminal Court judge, said he couldn't think of another example in state history when a governor sought clemency before decision was formally appealed. I think it's extremely presumptuous for someone to pass a verdict on the decision of 12 unanimous jurors without hearing the evidence in person, Wahlberg said. Doug O'Connell, representing Perry, told the Statesman on Saturday, we're totally focused on preparing for Daniel's sentencing right now. I visited Daniel in prison this morning. As you can imagine, he was devastated. He told me to his mother. He talked about his fears that he would never be hugged again. He was also crushed that his conviction would end his Army service. He likes being a soldier. Travis County District Attorney Jose Garza did not immediately comment. The jury deliberated for 17 hours over 2 days before reaching a verdict on Friday afternoon, after an 8-day trial attended by dozens of witnesses. Perry did not testify during the trial. Foster's brother, Ryan Foster, said on Saturday that he does not think Perry should be forgiven. This was clearly premeditated, Ryan Foster told the Statesman. He thought a lot about this and planned to do it. He wanted to kill a protester and saw someone exercise his Second Amendment right. After judge read the verdict in courtroom on Friday, Perry, 35, buried his head in one of his lawyer's breasts and began sobbing loudly. The jury also found Perry not guilty of aggravated assault with a LY weapon in connection with driving in front of another protester. Perry's conviction was instantly denounced by gun rights activists on Friday night. This is a wrongful conviction. Please intervene and release Daniel Perry, Rittenhouse wrote on Twitter. He was right to defend his own life when an AK-47 was pointed at him, and he doesn't deserve to be in jail. Fox's Carlson denounced the conviction in a 2-minute episode of his show, referring to the Austin protesters as a gang of rebels that surrounded Perry's car and began hitting him. When Foster raised his rifle, he said Perry had fired. It's a legal atrocity, Carlson said. There is no right of self-defense in Texas. He invited Abbott his show on Monday to discuss whether consider an amnesty for Perry. University of Texas law professor Jennifer Lauren referred to the part of Abbott's statement regarding Texas self-defense laws. He said that, As prosecutors did when Perry drove his car into a crowd of protesters, jury was instructed to dismiss defense when person claiming defense provoked backlash. It is uniform or deceptive to portray a conviction as violent override, Lauren tweeted. Under state law, Abbott is not authorized to grant pardons without a recommendation from a pardon and parole board, whose members he appoints. Abbott said in a statement that he had asked the board to review the decision to determine whether Perry should be granted a pardon. I made this request and instructed the board to expedite its review, Abbott said. I look forward to approving the board's pardon recommendation as soon as it arrives at my desk. Abbott usually declares amnesty around Christmas in December each year. An amnesty would have freed Perry from his sentence and restored his right to vote and be a jury member. Defense attorney Rick Kofer, who was not present, expressed surprise at Abbott's announcement. This is what happened in Uganda or El Salvador, said Kofer, a former prosecutor. And what's worse is that Abbott knows better. He was an astute Texas Supreme Court judge. He knows this is legally wrong. Jury finds Daniel Perry guilty of lead detective. I did not arrest Daniel Perry for possible self-defense.